Hello again, everybody, and welcome once more to our Sci-Fi Model Action Live Hangout. We've got some great modelers with us tonight. We got off to a little bit of a late start tonight, so hopefully if you're out there watching and you wanted to jump in, there's room for you guys to get in. I'm going to go around the room first and introduce everybody. First, I'm going to go to my left and start off with Armando de la Cabada. How you doing tonight, Armando?
Doing great, Boyd. Hope everyone's doing fine. My name's Armando Del Cabada. I'm in South Florida. And run my little channel, DLC Model Builders, where I post my video builds and working on a couple of things. Got 2 builds going on right now. Been a little slow this week, but I'm picking up the pace again. And I'm happy to be here.
Glad to have you on tonight, Armando. And up next, we've got David. David's a new member that's joined us here tonight. How are you doing tonight, David? Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're working on. I'm not seeing his camera right now, though. I just got his... you guys see his camera?
It's frozen.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, I'll come back to David here. Let's introduce our good friend Eric Hawkins. How you doing tonight, Eric?
Good, good. Hopefully everyone's going well, and I wouldn't wish everybody happy 4th of July coming up here.
Yeah, it's finally landed on a Friday, so I think everybody will get an extra day off this week, huh? That'd be a nice 3-day week.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll be working the weekend.
Oh, man. You need to give you a break, dude.
Hey, I work every weekend. And in the restaurant industry, there's no such thing as a day off or holiday.
Yeah.
Just pray we get our vacation.
Well, we're glad you're open on the weekends, Eric, so we can come and get something to eat.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go on to Tag next. How you doing tonight, Tag?
I'm doing good. I'm Tag in California, where it's 81 now. It was 95 earlier, which is hot for us. And apparently I've been pre-approved for $10,000, according to my email.
Wow. No strings attached.
It's in the spam folder, so.
Oh, very good.
But I'm doing good. I'm glad to be here.
All right, Tag. Well, we'll talk about what you're working on here in just a little bit. I'm the host of this thing, Boyd Crompton. I operate the Sci-Fi Model Action forums and the TrekWorks YouTube channel, and I'm glad to be here with these guys tonight. We've got our Q&A thing opened up here too, guys. So anybody that's watching, if you want to send in some questions to our modelers tonight, be happy to take those questions and see if we can answer them for you and help you out. So let's go back over to Armando real quick here, and Armando's working on the Mobius Cylon Raider, the new kit. How's that one coming along, Armando?
Well, it's coming along all right. As I said at the beginning, I didn't get a lot of chances to work on my models this week. It's been busy, you know, a pesky thing called work kept getting in the way. But I'm finally back at it, and I think I solved the problem of the main engine in the main holdup right now. The main engines, to my way of looking at it, and a bunch of the other guys also, they need to be really bright. At least that's what they look like on the screen. Gary and a couple of the guys batted around some ideas. Some guys went in some directions, others went in others. I know Gary Pashtag used put-out LEDs from a very bright flashlight, and he got excellent results. I thought about doing that, but I don't know. I didn't guess. I felt like going to a hardware store and buying all that and cutting it up. So I tried using the lights that Jerry used. These are 10mm LEDs, very high candles. And they're very bright, but they still weren't quite bright enough for my liking. So I went back to an original idea that I had, which was to make styrene squares and put 3 strips of double density white LEDs on there. And what I did was I created those little styrene strips. Styrene squares, put the little strips on them, and then glued them onto a octagonal of thick styrene. I did that on both sides. And then I glued very thin white styrene in front to act as a diffusing layer, which is what you actually see. One of them is actually more separated than the other one, interestingly enough, because to my eye, that's the way I'd get them to shine about the same. Maybe the LEDs on this one weren't as bright, I don't know. But at any rate, what I did was I got as close as I could to the styrene surface without seeing the hot spots of the 9 LEDs, and then I glued it in place. And the result has been pretty good. Looks pretty bright. Let me show you guys what it looks like for the viewers out there. And now I'm in the light blocking phase because, like a fool, I committed a boo-boo and didn't light block the bottom saucer appropriately. So I had to use a lot of tulip paint creatively. Let me switch cameras so you guys can see the brightness of it. Okay. So those are the main engines.
Awesome.
They look really nice. I was spraying some primer before getting into the hangout here on the top half. And I got it light blocked appropriately, so this is how it's going to be. It's going to fit on top. I've cut out some portions there so the styrene strips will stick right through. As you can see, some of it needs to be cut out. You always have to do some cutting of the model, no matter what. Jerry cut out a lot more. I didn't think I needed to do that much, and sure enough, I got just enough out so the styrene strips protrude. And then what I'll do is I'll block them with styrene strips and whatever I need to do to make it light blocked, and then this piece goes on top, which will need to be light blocked as well. And that'll cover up really nice, and I should get the effect that I want.
That's going to look out nice.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. Hopefully I can get some progress done this week. And right now I was looking at where to drill the bottom lights. I think I want to do them right about here, where this panel ends, which is more or less what the reference pictures show. I was going to use this bit, which is just large enough to let some light in really nice. I think I'll probably end up using some SMDs, really bright SMDs, but I haven't settled on the color. Some reference pictures are white, other reference pictures are yellow. I'm not really sure, so maybe I can get you guys' opinion on it. But that's what I'm doing.
Very nice job, Armando. And you talked about on the back part there that you just use that styrene, really thin styrene. That's for those that don't know, when you're doing LED lighting, you don't want hot spots to show up where your little individual lights are, so you put something in there to what we call diffuse that, correct? So the lights look all blended together in one light source and not individual specks of light.
Yeah, what I did was I got as close as I could. This is a styrene right here, really thin. I forget which different thicknesses. And I just got the LEDs just close enough so that they were really bright, but where you couldn't see the hot spots. If you get too close, then you see all 9 LEDs right through it. Obviously, you don't want that. So I just put it at the distance I thought was right, and that's where I glued it. Worked out pretty nice.
Very nice, Armando. One thing that I'll mention to everybody out there too about that diffusion thing is that, talking about stuff you have around the house, one of the things that I found that works really nice for that too is the opaque kind of frosted looking plastic that you get on a plastic 1-gallon milk jug. So if you have one of those milk jugs laying around the house, before you throw it away, you might want to cut it up and save all the, the flat parts of that. And the nice part about that stuff is that it's sort of flexible. So if you've got to make something that has to fit around a certain shape or a little bit of a curve or something like that, you can use that stuff, and it works really good for doing that light diffusion we're talking about. And you can just glue it on with canopy glue or something like that. But what Armando did is pretty much the same thing. If you've got some thin styrene, and actually, really bright LEDs will go through pretty thick styrene too if you don't paint it.
Sure, absolutely.
Yep, that's really cool, Armando. And just mentioning again to everybody out there that over at Sci-Fi Model Action, Armando is actually doing a buddy build with this Cylon Raider, which is just a bunch of guys getting together and all building the kit at the same time. There's really no start date and end date, so a couple of the guys have already started, but if you're interested in building that kit, you can post on the forum over there and join in and just kind of post progress of what you're doing. And it's a nice little thing because that way everybody can get a little different take on how everybody is doing the lighting and the painting and the different steps of the assembly. So it's a pretty cool little deal.
Yep.
I'm glad you put that together, Armando. That's really cool. And I think, how many guys are building there? What, you got about 5 or 6 guys over there building them?
Yeah, I think so. I think about 5 or 6 guys asked to join, and most of them have already started or are in different phases. Dave is almost finished, if he hasn't finished already. But some of the guys haven't even started yet, or they're just in the preliminary phases. So anybody who wants to join, feel free. Just post a thread on the works in progress area stating that you're joining the mini build for the Toss Salmon Raider, and hopefully.
Very cool. Yep, and I want to say, encourage other people to do the same thing. You know, if you got a kid out there and you're a member of Sci-Fi Model Action, if you want to just put a shout out on the board that you're going to be building a kit, and if there's anybody else out there, we encourage people to start their own kind of buddy build thing. Just get a few guys together, and it doesn't have to be anything formal at all. Just have fun building your models and swapping kits back and forth. That's what the community's all about. So that's very cool, Armando. I'm going to go back to David here real quick. David got his connection back. We've got David Hale on with us tonight. David, I think this is maybe your first time on here, or have you been on with us before, Dave? I can't remember. Yeah, you're very faint. You don't happen to have a headset, do you, Dave?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. You just have to be close to your microphone, I think. It's just barely picking you up. It kind of cuts in and out. But introduce yourself, Dave, and tell us what you're working on.
I'm David Hale, and I'm working on scratch build.
That is very cool. There's one for you kit bashing guys out there. He's got an NX01 that he's combining with a 350 refit, it looks like, and he's making his own custom design. That's really cool.
All right. That's going to have elements of all the technologies there.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's going to be great.
The question is, what's the top speed? What's going to be the top speed?
I have no idea, guys.
Well, she ought to run out a lot faster than the NX01 with those standard engines versus those upgraded babies.
That's right.
Looks like you got a young fellow there with you, Dave. Is that your son?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Austin Hill.
Great. Are you enjoying modeling too, or are you starting to build some of your own models? Oh, you're doing a Klingon. All right.
Scratch one from a E7 to a Katinga. And hang on, there it is. Here's the body of it so far.
Awesome.
I've tried to put my window detail into it as much as I can.
Very nice. So you're lighting it too. That's great.
Oh, actually,
Learning all this stuff from your dad?
yes.
That's awesome, man. I love to see young people building models. What do you think of your dad's fishing boat there?
Oh, good. If he'll stop shining, if he'll put a trap line in it.
Like we were saying earlier, it looks like something right out of The Deadliest Catch. Is that a lobster boat or a
Crab boat.
crab boat? Okay. Very cool. I love the lighting on it.
Looks pretty good. It's like
Oh, I don't think.
actually didn't unplug it. It came off from the thing.
Is it completely scratch built, Dave? Or is that
Yes.
a kit bash as well?
That's scratch build.
That's really nice.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, I see the detail on the side of the hull. Yeah, I really like that.
It's just like the one from
Very nice.
Mini has this one right here.
Ah. Another modification job there looks like it started out as the Enterprise C, and you're making it into something else. That's very cool.
Yeah, they got rid of the neck. They made it shorter. Yeah.
Yeah, and the engine's laying down flat. It's pretty cool too. It's almost a Voyager look.
Yeah.
Looks like me and Dave are going to be very good friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Eric's eating this up. Very nice, Dave. Thanks for sharing those with us. Very nice work. Okay, I'm gonna go on to Eric now, and ask Eric what his future plans are for some models he's working on.
Well, my future plans, I'm probably going to work on that Jeep Battlestar. I'm making out of runabouts. Found the different. I had things separated there, but I found most of the pieces. Got my 700 scale 40 millimeter anti-aircraft gun for the laser towing. I got my N1A1 tank tracks for the missile doors. So that's going to be working out pretty good on that. And a couple of things I'm thinking about redoing, doing it in a way of taking parts for, you might say, some pieces from the Pegasus to a new Battlestar. Hang on a second. I'm going to come back to me later, all right?
Okay. We'll come back. Okay. Somebody was trying to talk to Eric there, or yell at him. One of the two. How you doing tonight, Tag, and what are you working on?
Like I said last week, I was gonna take this motorcycle kit and make something sci-fi-ish. So I made this little probe.
That's cool. What
Robot.
parts of it are actually I can't even tell what parts of the motorcycle, except maybe the front fairing. That's about it.
Yeah, it's just, I watch a lot of TV.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's all the model kit, and then of course some strip styrene and some tube aluminum styrene and brass. I still got to finish the base. The base is a golf ball case holder.
Ah.
But it came out about what I had in my mind. You just start fitting pieces together, see what you can come up with.
Yeah, that's neat.
And I'm going to be building this for the July Hero
that's nice.
build.
Yep, that's right. We've got the Heroes build that our event organizer Chris Whitford put together over at Sci-Fi Model Action. So we talked about that a little bit last week, but you can stop by over there. I'm not sure. Did the registry already close for it, or is it still open? I can't.
Yeah, it was well 9 o'clock my time, so 11:59 your time.
Okay.
Or Eastern time. Yeah, Eastern time. So, and I just got in like about 8:40 because I totally forgot about it. I totally forgot what day it was, and then it dawned on me, and I went, "Oh, crud! I need to think of something to do." So, since I just got this, and I want to build one before I build the big 124 that I have.
Very nice. Well, even if it's too late, they can still stop by and check out all the ongoing work, because everybody will be doing a thread on each of their models, so they'll be able to see some interesting stuff going on too, and they can build along at the same time if they want to. So.
Yeah, he said there were 10 when he posted the last time, so I think there was probably 4 or 5 hours after that. So I don't know what the grand total wound up being.
Mm-hmm. Are you doing any lighting on the X-Wing Tag, or is it just right out of the box?
No, I'm gonna do some lighting on it and do the engines, and I'm probably gonna do the cockpit too.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't looked at Luke. I haven't done a lot of research on this kit, but if I remember correctly, Luke has that molded face shield or something on there, so I may have to modify that if he's even in here. I haven't even opened them out of the cellophane yet to see, make sure all the parts and everything are there.
like quite a few parts. What's the part count on that kit? Does it say on the box?
Yeah, I don't know if it says on the box. Doesn't say on the box, but it looks like it's a good 70, yeah, about 70, 80, something like that.
Yeah,
Oh, there's
about
Luke.
fine mold, man.
That's
Those
fine
things
mold.
are really useful.
Yeah, I found Luke.
Here, Liz.
Good. I'm gonna watch your build closely, man. I've got that kit, so I want to
Oh,
build
yeah?
it. Yeah.
Oh, good. It looks like he does have his face shield on. Anyway, I'll go through all the parts and stuff probably tomorrow and do some research and start putting stuff together, start working out the lighting and base and all that stuff and get her going, since I guess we've only got 30 days.
Yeah. Yep. It's a little bit shorter than our spring build was. Well, usually Chris likes to do those iron modeler builds. Thankfully, it's those he has them. You got to finish the kit in like a week. So
Oh, really?
better, yeah. We did a couple of those, but oh, looks like we had Bob make it in.
Yeah, I'm stuck here at work. I just poked my nose in for a second and say hi.
Oh, okay. How you doing,
Hi,
Bob?
Bob.
So,
Here's mine.
Oh yeah, look at that. It's got the. What scale is that thing, Armando? I saw the pictures you posted. That thing's huge.
Quarter scale, I think.
Yeah, like the Hulk should be.
Is it
He's like a little kid.
is it the movie Hulk or is it just comic book Hulk?
No, I think it's a comic book Hulk. It's based on a drawing. Obviously, it's a recast.
Right.
See if I can show you what the picture is based on.
It has some incredible detail on it. Looking at the picture.
Yeah, because I'm kind of interested in getting it. Now that I see how big it is.
I think those are kind of hard to find, aren't they?
No, actually, they're all over the place on eBay. It's just that they're expensive because of the shipping.
Oh,
There's,
okay.
Okay.
there's a drawing that it's based on,
Okay.
and here it
All
is built out. This is what I want to base myself, obviously, in part to get the coloring right.
Wow. Awesome.
It's cool, man. I'm looking forward to it. Gonna test my skills as far as painting muscles and stuff. I've never done this before, so. Should be
Get a
interesting.
lot of green paint.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how you do all the shading on the features, on the muscle features and everything. That's going to be fun to do that.
It definitely helps to pre-shade.
That's what I hear everybody tell me. Yeah. With black. Right
So
on.
paint dark colors and then paint the green over it.
You paint your primer gray, and then you go in with your black and you do your muscle tone and all where you want your shadows, and then you put your base color on.
Yeah, that's what I've seen on YouTube, and a bunch of people have told me that.
Yeah.
It also works for the creases on the pants too, if you want to emphasize it.
Right.
Very cool.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's big. How tall does it stand when it's all together?
It's about. This thing's about 30 inches. I think.
Wow.
It's gonna be a big one.
And that one is one's resin, Armando, or not vinyl?
This one's vinyl, although the
Oh.
same cast comes in resin. Of course, it's like 3 times more expensive, and it's
Shipping.
probably a much harder kit to put together because you have to pin it. But this one's all hollow. It's vinyl, and I've already got experience with several vinyl kits. So,
Right. Probably a lot lighter in vinyl too, I would imagine.
oh yeah, much. Here's let me measure. I think it's like 30. Well, not quite. 50, 24 inches.
Big enough.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's pretty big.
Very cool. Bob, did you get in on the hero build that we're doing that Chris Whitford's got going at SFMA?
yeah, I'm doing the 747 with the shuttle piggyback,
Oh yeah, that'll
the
be
Revell 144 scale kit.
nice.
It's huge.
Mm-hmm. I'll bet, yeah. 144, 747, that's got to be big.
Was that like 3 feet?
It's the 144 scale. It's 747 is about 19 inches long, and the wingspan's about 16 inches.
Okay.
It's a nice size, yeah. Very cool. Looking forward to seeing that one too.
Yeah, I did a pre unboxing the other day. One, open the bag when I get home tonight. Because now it'll be legal. By the time I get home, I'll be able to start it legally.
That's right. We get started tonight, right?
Yeah, at midnight.
I probably won't get started tonight. I'll probably get started tomorrow.
Yeah, that's why I was going to do research tonight.
Yeah.
Start tomorrow.
Well, that's just where when I'm getting home tonight from work will be midnight, so I'll play with it a little bit before I go to bed. I got tomorrow
Dedicated
off.
Guys.
Yep, dedicated. I like it.
Yeah, you got to do something to unwind when you get home from work.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm going to show you guys a couple pictures of the latest on my enterprise refit project here, if I can get this to work. I think I got it right off the bat. You guys see that?
No.
Yep.
All right, there we
All
go.
right. I'm getting better at it. Okay. Well, you can see what I was doing in this shot here is I glued the top half of the saucer down onto the bottom half. The whole saucer is mounted onto the secondary hull now. And then on my latest video, I showed how I repaired the seam that we see on this model that goes around the edge of the saucer. It's just below the window groupings there. And I did a lot of work in the beginning to save the detail of that raised sort of grid line that goes all the way around the edge there for the sensor band. And so what I wanted to do is I didn't want to ruin it, now after doing all that work in the beginning. So after I pulled the tape off here, I just put another piece of tape and wrapped it all the way around the edge of the saucer, just staying just barely below that group of windows there. And then I just put some squadron putty on it and sanded it down, and took one application pretty much all the way around. Then I had a couple little tiny spots here and there I had to go back and touch up, do the shrinkage or whatever, and got that all taken care of. And then I just masked off the top and the bottom, went back about 1.5 inches away from the edge, and then I covered the rest of the model with some handy wrap, and I sprayed the edge of the saucer. And here you can see I've been working on the top, putting on all the detail decals and painting on the phaser banks. I like to paint my phaser banks on instead of using the kit supplied decals. I think they look better. They look a little bit more rich. They don't. Decals look almost a little bit too transparent, and so then the little squares around the hatches and the little details around the bridge and things like that. And I'm starting to work on the engines now. I just did a test fitting on that. And one of the things that's important on this model, if you notice, you go to work on it, those pins that are up at the top of the pylons that hold the nacelles on, they are actually sort of tapered to where the closer they get to the pylon itself, they become wider and wider and wider. They're supposed to be sort of a pressure fit for the nacelle to go on there. And in order to make it fit nice and tight so that when you put the nacelle halves together and then you attach it to the pylon, unless you take and remove some of that taper and make it completely flat all the way through, you're going to wind up with a gap between the nacelle and the pylon. You have a big light leak that you'll have to fix. So one of the things that you can do to correct that is take a hobby knife or something like that and remove a little bit of that material. Remove a little bit of that material there, and you can make it closer. So that's a little remedy you can use to help fix that, and then you'll get a nacelle that fits much tighter on the pylon. And if you do have a light leak there, it'll be really, really minor, and you'll be able to seal that up a lot easier. But I'm getting really close. Another couple days of flowers out there, and I'll get it all finished up. I'm gonna do some,
Beautiful, man.
I'm gonna do some Raytheon lighting in the tail end of the nacelles, and I'll show how I do that and all that to get the little register numbers lit up and everything. But she's getting pretty close. About there. End of a long
Beauty.
journey. Something I wanted to show you guys that I just got in here. I'll do a open box review on this here in a couple days on my channel. This is the brand new Pegasus Models Terminator 2 Hunter Killer tank.
Uh-oh.
This is a really cool kit. It's really big. I'm going to be talking to my buddy Armando there about getting some advice on the all-clad paints. I've ordered some different all-clad paints for this because this is supposed to have a really cool, metallic paint job on it with different. I'm going to go with some titanium and some different kinds of all-clad out there, but I haven't worked with all-clad a lot. So I'm going to get some advice from Armando, who we call Dr. All-Clad. And I'll show you guys something else here that came in from my good friend Jerry at HDA Model Works. A new product that he's got out there in case you guys might not have seen it yet. This is a brand new, apologize for my light glare in here a little bit if I can tilt it a certain way. Yeah, that's pretty good. This is a brand new masking set for the AMT Enterprise Command Bridge.
Wow.
The kit that they've repopped. So this is really sweet, and it will save you a lot of time. Do your painting on all the different panels. You can see he's got all these panels here, so you can do the multi colors, around the edges of the display panels and things like that. And for masking off your tops of your control consoles, so if you want to backlight those and put LEDs in and light your model, you'll be able to do that now because you can basically shine the light right through the styrene plastic and just put your decals over the top, and you'll get some nice backlit panels using this masking set. So if you guys are interested, you can contact Jerry at HDA Model Works, and he'll send you out one of these. Really nice little set. I just thought I'd show that real quick tonight. And that's all I got, guys. I haven't quite decided. I've got this little, after I finish up the refit, I think I'm going to be starting on the Dune resin kit that I've got of the Atreides trading frigate. So that'll be something fun to work on, something different. Never built one of those before, so I'm going to do some lighting and stuff on that one. That's about it. I see Shannon joined us. How you doing tonight, Shannon?
All right, I'm late because I went grocery shopping, man.
Oh, that's okay, Shannon. We got started a little bit late tonight. We started half hour past our regular time, but glad you could make it on.
Me too.
How's your 2500 scale movie ship set coming?
Well, let me see. I got the A done. Got the little B done. I'm working on little C.
Oh wow, that looks great.
So far, that's all it is. It's just all I got is just little marks and decals on it right now.
That really spruces it up, though.
Yep. I learned from a long time ago from somebody who told me how to put those decals on. You got to have some of that decal softener on there. You know him? I think his name's Boyd.
Yeah. Hey, don't always listen to what I tell you.
It usually works.
Yeah.
Between you and Chris, I do pretty good.
Well, that's good. Guys, I wanted to mention something real quick, just talking about the modeling community here a little bit. Some of you may or may not know there's a gentleman who goes by the name of Jim Marksbury, a.k.a. Big Boss Jim. He was a great modeling guy over in the, more or less in the kind of in the car building community, but he passed away unexpectedly a couple of days ago. And if you have a chance, I would appreciate if you guys would stop by over at his. You can look him up. He had a YouTube channel, and maybe just drop a condolence or something over there. I think his family would really appreciate it. It's just really a sad day. I know Chris Cortell Did a nice little tribute video to him. Chris is big into the car building community, and it was really kind of an unexpected thing. It kind of showed you how suddenly things can change, things like that. So if you get a chance, I've seen a few of his videos. I've watched a few of his videos when I was doing a couple of car builds. He was a really nice guy. He had several modeling clubs that he was operating, and he was just a real down-to-earth guy that promoted the hobby in a positive way, encouraging people to be creative and not put up with the nitpicking and the squabbling and everything like that. And just a shame, but I'm sad to hear that. Our community is actually, in reality, overall, a pretty small group of people. So that happens. It kind of affects everybody. So I just thought I'd say something about that.
That's sad. You're breaking up, Boyd. There's a lot of static, and you're breaking up.
Okay. Is it any better now?
Yeah, the voice is
breaking up.
Yeah, the voice is louder.
Okay. Well, let me. Hang on a minute, guys. I'll switch over here and. How about that? Is that working any better?
No, that's about the same.
About the same?
Yeah. The
Okay,
voice is louder, less static.
Might be something to do with the connection here or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's that, and I guess now, guys, it's time to turn it over to open discussion and see if you guys have any things that you want to kick around here or talk about. Kind of a slow night here on the Hangout, but we've got a couple people watching. Dave says he's watching, but he's a little bit under the weather. He couldn't make it tonight. And a couple of people are saying that maybe the quality of the broadcast on the Hangout's kind of bad tonight. It's probably good old Google helping us out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I have
go ahead.
Well, I was wondering because I'm building it Battlestar at Runabout parts, and I was wondering, do you think I should make it more of a clean line like I was thinking about doing, or should I throw in some parts from Monogram or even the new Mobius Battlestar to make it closer together?
Well, my opinion, Eric, is that it's totally up to you, isn't it? I mean, it's your build. I don't have any. Especially on a kit bash like that, it's completely up to you. I think what you come up with as far as how you want it to look. I wouldn't worry about what anybody else says about it at all.
I was just wanting to tell you, I'm going to build it the way I want you, the way I think it's going to go.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to tell you, because before the new Battlestar Galactica came out on the Sci-Fi Channel, I was going to pretty much do it the way I was going to do it, some missiles, some laser turrets, and the landing bay. That was about it. And so the Galactica and the Pegasus, they had rail guns. Hey, I'm going to throw a couple rail guns on my ship, too. Why not?
Yeah, I think whatever you come up with, the more creative you are, I think the more people will, find something interesting on there. Like I said, we do a lot of these models as replicas. A lot of us build models and try to make it look like something that it's, the object that we're copying or whatever. And that's all fun and well and good. But like I said, anything out there that a big part of modeling, like what Tag was doing there a minute ago, taking that motorcycle kit, making it into something really cool. That's a really big part of modeling, and that's what a lot of people enjoy doing. And I don't think anybody has any place to say, hey, that doesn't look right, or I wouldn't have done it that way, or whatever. It's totally up to you what you want to do with stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, I agree.
Colors that you choose, whatever. I mean, you're creating something out of your own imagination. I mean, just think, the model makers in Hollywood, for example, when they create something, sometimes they're working off of a plan or something that the producers or whatever has already something imagined, but in a lot of cases they're just saying, here, we want a ship and, make it look cool, and that's how they do it. They just come up with something completely, from scratch like that, so that's the creative part of it that's really fun.
Yeah, and then
Yep. And the heck with everybody else.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right, do it your way.
That's
I already got
that's
my
you know,
decal name for it years ago from JT Graphics.
cool.
Stuck with the name I chosen years ago, but it's gonna be a cool name.
Well, that's one of the things that we're really strong about over at Sci-Fi Model Action, and that's what I think makes our forum a little unique, is that we're totally open-minded about all those things. We're not rivet counters. We're not nitpickers. People over there are really, really, really good about uh, supporting each other's work. And you see pictures that somebody posts a picture of an enterprise that they built or something like that, and they did a little bit something different on it. You're not going to see people over there going, "Hey, that's not right," or that panel didn't go there, or this window didn't go there, or whatever. Or that light didn't blink like that. There's a wide range of subjects that people are interested in, and we're open to all of them over there. And I think that's why the community's done very well. We don't allow that type of, friendly and open is what we're all about, and that's why it's done very well in the last couple of years. Enterprise.
Oh, Dave, you're gonna have to send me a friend request so we can get together on some of these bashes that we're doing.
All right.
Yep,
We can do that.
we can.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing what you guys come up with.
We've got a truck there. Hold on.
Okay, we'll cover it.
That looked like a serious aircraft carrier tractor there.
Boy.
That's cool.
Good.
Man's a kit basher. All right.
Yeah, if you're bashing kits, you're doing good.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll talk about that big show that I'm going to in August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, called Jersey Fest out there in New Jersey, and they've got a whole category out there specifically for kit bashing, which is kind of cool. I'm interested to see what some of the people have out there. But what they're doing with that show is they're going from they've been mainly known for a kind of a figure, figures and superheroes and things like that, and they're making a really bold move now to get much more into the modeling aspect side, mostly sci-fi based. And they're doing a really good job, I think, in a couple of years with the people that they have doing it and everything in the location they're in, which is close to New York City. I think they're going to make a really strong run at Wonderfest as far as being the #1 modeling show in the country that they do every year. And from what I've seen and looking at their website and pictures of their past events, they do a really, really top-notch job, and they have it in a really, really nice facility. All the model kit manufacturing people will be there, so you get to hang out after hours and hobnob with those guys and talk to them about kits that they're working on, things that they're get to hear some inside scoop and things like that. So that'll be really, really cool.
I've been getting updates from them by email, and it looks like it's going to be a really good show.
What's it called?
Jersey Fest.
Yeah, Jersey Fest. Okay.
Yep.
David, where are you from? David,
Huh?
where are you at? Never
I'm
hear
in,
where you.
New Mexico.
In Mexico?
State of New Mexico.
Okay.
That's a ways away from Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I'm down in Texas, but I'm going to make my way up there. Like I said, I'm really excited about it. I'm just looking at the I think the figures are fascinating too. I mean, you look at some of the pictures of some of the past winners they've had and everything. I mean, some fantastic work. Beautiful, beautiful. And they're into sci-fi and horror and all that. That's going to be really, really cool. Superhero stuff. Looks like we just had Chris make it in. I'm going to hop over to Chris real quick. How you doing tonight, Chris?
50-50. I'm in a little bit of pain right now. For some reason, my ribs are hurting.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But
Well, before you came in, we talked about the hero build a little bit, and looks like we've got about 10 people that joined in, so that's pretty good.
13.
13, all right. Way to go, guys.
All right.
And tell us a little bit about that, Chris. It's kicking off at midnight tonight and running until when?
Oops.
No sound, Chris.
Okay, midnight tonight, and ends July 31st at 11:59 Eastern Standard Time.
They got a whole month, basically. All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, Armando and Tag were already showing what they're building. Armando's doing the big Hulk kit, and Tag's doing the Fine Molds X-Wing.
148. Yeah, the 148.
There it is.
We got a Batman. All right. That's the Keaton Batman.
That
It's not
is
the kit you
Keaton.
wanted. It's not the kit you wanted, but it's the one you're gonna build.
Oh, stop it, Tag. I'm in pain right now. Oh, man.
You
Oh
are
yeah,
my
we're
number
with laughter.
You are my number one. A guy.
Oh, man. That's okay. It's okay. I pulled a muscle or something. My right side is hurting right now. So when he started that, I started laughing and that hurt. Oh. But yeah, since it's the 25th anniversary of the 1989 movie, I figured, why not? I was trying to decide, and I said, okay, it'll be that one. So the only problem I can see with this thing is if y'all looked at my video, the video unboxing I did, the cowl has a lot of flash, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of trimming on that.
Well, I still think the two best Batman movies are that one and the one with the what was it called? The one with Heath Ledger.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah,
Those are the two best Batman movies.
Chris.
Yeah.
I think that about that movie Batman was in what was it? Legoland or something like that. Lego movie.
The
I
Lego
never saw the Lego movie. So
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
Batman is all through that, man.
yeah, it's just the guy that got doing the voice for him is hilarious. He's on that show on Thursday nights called The Millers. So
Yeah, what's his name?
Will something.
Yeah, it's like Will
Yeah.
Ashton or something like that. Will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hey,
like
guys.
the show with Christina Applegate before it got canceled.
Have you guys seen the? They're starting to post some pictures on the internet of the new Batman versus Superman movie.
Yeah.
I have.
They have pictures of the Batmobile. They've got a picture of just today. They released a picture of Henry. What's his name? Henry Cavill.
Cavill.
Okay. Picture of him as Clark Kent. And the Batmobile. The first picture they showed of it with Ben Affleck in the foreground. With you were looking at the back of the car, or maybe it was the front. I can't remember. I think it was the back. It's a little bit blurry and kind of in the shadows, and I thought it looked pretty good. But then they released another picture of it a while later, and I don't know if it was so good or not. It looked like it was sort of an ATV-looking thing with like an off-road kind of suspension underneath of it, and I don't know if it's. I hope they don't blow that.
Well, we'll find out next year.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like a cross between the Nolan Batmobile and the Michael Keaton's Batmobile.
Yeah, with a little bit of the George Clooney Batmobile thrown in too.
Yeah.
I have more faith in the Batman movie than I do the Star Wars movie coming out.
Yeah.
I'm the other way around. I have more faith in J.J. Abrams than I do in Zack Snyder.
Yeah, but come on, can you imagine all the landslide you're gonna see in that movie?
The what?
Yeah. Lens flare.
You're gonna,
Oh,
Well, did you guys notice too that Robert Orci put out a statement about Star Trek 3,
Mm-hmm.
saying that they're gonna they're going to go closer to the formula of the original TV series, and that now they're going to show the crew as being established and well into their routines and their relationship that we were familiar with from the original television show, because now they're on a deep space 5-year mission. It won't be anything to do with Earth or anything like that, so that might be a little encouraging. Hopefully that's a good sign.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yep.
Me too.
Okay, I've got a quick question here that came in from Kenny Lau. He's asking about the polytranspar paints that you use on the Enterprise refit. Kenny, when you go to the Mackenzie taxidermy supply website and you look up their paints, you're gonna want to go to their iridescent paint section. They have regular pearl paints listed there, and then they have regular iridescent paints. I think on one of my, maybe more than one, a couple of my YouTube videos that I did in the comment section, I posted the link to the actual page that will take you straight to the paints, and you're gonna want the shimmering blue, the shimmering gold, shimmering red, and shimmering green. And you can get those in 4-ounce or 8-ounce bottles. The 4-ounce bottles are plenty. You can do probably 3 or 4 Enterprise refit models with the 4-ounce bottles, so you'll have more than enough left over. If you can't find the comment on the comments thing on the YouTube channel, you can go to my Trekworks Facebook page, and I've got a link to it posted over there. A lot of people have asked about that paint. And there's a guy, actually, you guys didn't see that. For some of you out there that are UK modelers, I forgot his name now, but he works in shipping and receiving, and he's actually putting together the paperwork, or making an effort to put together the paperwork so that people over in England could order that lacquer-based polytranspar paint and get it shipped over there. There was an issue where Mackenzie wasn't shipping it. They shipped their water-based stuff, but they don't ship the lacquer stuff, and he's working out the details, and he's got a thread going over at the Sci-Fi Model Action Google site, and he's asking if there are people that are interested in getting that ordered, and he wants to kind of get everybody in a group. So for you, those of you in the UK, you can stop by and check that out and see what he's got. I think it's Craig Kerr or something like that. I can't remember for sure.
Yes, Craig.
Okay, so there you go for that, and hopefully he'll get that worked out, and you guys will be able to get that paint over there. Now, I've been asked about the water-based stuff. I tried some of it. It's just not the same as far as it takes more coats of the stuff to put it on to get the same amount of rich, in other words, to get it to show up. And the problem with that is that when you start spraying it on there really thick using the mask, you're going to have hard edges on your paint lines all over the place. So,
hello.
And it's also not
hello.
It's also not quite as how do you say it, scratch resistant as the lacquer-based paint is. So you got to be really careful removing the mask and things like that. You can scratch that stuff pretty easy. But that's the main difference in it. But you can get that. I mean, they'll ship that stuff because it's not flammable. But hope that helps some of you guys out there on that. Okay, guys, I'm just moving on here to the like I said, we're in the kind of the open discussion thing here. I don't really have anything else. Whatever you guys want to talk about.
I would love to hear more about Dave's XO1 there, what he's planning on doing with it.
Doing some motion picture with it. Picture top. You hear me?
Yeah.
It's cutting on and off for me, Dave. I hear you a little bit, and then sometimes I can't hear you at all.
Oh well.
You guys still need to get done. I don't know what to do about that.
Where'd he go?
Sometimes it's
Now,
if it's a wireless mic or something like that, it might have like a sensitivity thing adjustment on it that you might. It's like when you get close enough, it'll pick it up, and then if you back away a little bit, it kind of cuts in and out.
Oh no, I'm here.
Armando has that happen when he's on his Bluetooth, but
Yeah. That's true.
Well, guys, I'm gonna take some medicine for this sore side, and I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll talk to y'all later. Okay?
all right, Chris. Well, I hope you get feeling better, buddy.
All right, take it
Get
easy.
well soon. Get well.
Don't make me laugh, man. Don't. Oh god.
Have fun.
Bye
Hey,
bye.
feel better next week.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
Oh man. I've been there before too.
Absolutely.
So grab your sides and don't laugh.
Yeah, mine's usually the back. If I pull something in my back.
Yeah, I was sore. I was sore the last couple of days. I feel better today, but I've been doing a lot of cleaning and stuff out in my shop, and I've got a bunch of heavy boxes and stuff like that out there, and I've been making room, to expand a little bit out there and put in a couple more workbenches. And man, just you forget how much stuff you get piled up. We've lived in this house almost 20 years, and man, the stuff really starts to pile up.
Yeah, it doesn't take long either.
No.
I have an idea. It's like buying your first model, then next thing you're buying another one. Next thing you know, you're like, where do I store 'em?
Yeah. Well, my wife works at a place where they do computer programming, and they moved about a year ago into a bigger building, and they had all these really nice heavy-duty industrial type shelving, the type that you see like in warehouses and things like that. Like they have at Home Depot, the big, heavy metal ones, that are adjustable and all that. And they had too many of them, so they were going to get rid of them. And I bought a couple of them for like pennies on the dollar. I mean, they're really sturdy and really strong. And I set them all up in the garage out there. You can't really see them on any of the videos that I showed because they're kind of behind that wall that I have where all my models are. But anyway, I thought, yeah, I'll have plenty of room. It'll take me a long time before I'll ever get these filled up. Well, they're full, and I don't have any place to put anything else. I've been trying to clear out some old stuff, and I'm constantly getting stuff in and out of here, shipping, with big boxes and stuff. And I try to save some of the boxes for like reshipping models when I'm done with them or whatever. And you start keeping those too, and you're like, holy crap, the boxes are taking over. I mean, I just got like a whole wall of boxes in the background. So I spent a couple hours just taking a razor knife and cutting them all down and getting rid of them. I mean, man. Yeah, they were taking over too.
Recycling guy's gonna love you next week too.
Yeah, well, we've got the automated garbage pickup here, so
Yeah.
the guy doesn't
He'll never get out.
Doesn't even have to get out of his truck.
Yeah, the only time they do is to write you a note because you didn't do something right.
Yeah, didn't put the trash can in the right place or whatever.
Yeah, I got a pretty nice guy. Anytime my neighbor puts his trash can in front of my car, which then blocks him, he'll get out, empty, and move it over, empty, and then put it back. He said, yeah, I don't understand. You tell them where to put it, they won't put it there.
Yep. That's the way it works.
Yeah. Then it's always I pay my taxes. He can go get it where I leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like what's that argument I was going? Something like that. Can you? Yeah, Wednesday night, my neighbor in the back of me, they decided to have a little poker party out back, and then the neighbor on the side of me decided to turn up his stereo so they can hear it, and the guy across the street decided to turn up his dumper music in his car. Yeah, I only got to be at work at 6 in the morning. I mean,
man.
That
would get old really fast.
Yeah, and they stop around 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not in the type of neighborhood where you can just call the police and show up. It takes them a little while to get there. They're only 2 blocks away, but it takes them about 45 minutes to get there.
Oh,
I can hear you. I heard you there, David.
I'm trying to configure my microphone.
That's
Yeah, I
better.
can hear you better now.
Oh, really?
Is it in the laptop or is it separate?
It's on the laptop.
Well, when you say microphone the first time, we heard you real good.
Yeah, it's like it when he first says something, it comes in really loud and then it drops off, like it's got some kind of sensitivity thing going on or something.
And I think maybe it's the mic in the laptop is just starts to hear sound and it's not picking up to boost the sound like right away. It has a delay in it.
And I was trying for the first time tonight one of these. I got this little lapel mic, and I think it was working fine. I think we just I think we're getting some kind of static from something else, but I wanted to try that out instead of this boom mic tonight, because every time I move that, you can hear all kinds of rattling and stuff going on. But
Yeah, I'm not using a microphone, so.
For most time, I'm using
Plug into it.
I got this little lapel mic for like. I ordered it off of eBay. It was like $3, and they sent me 3 of them.
Oh wow.
Hey, you guys, 2 spare ones for phone breaks.
I bought it for my darn camera, for my Canon camera, because when I'm filming out in my shop during the summer, I have my AC running all the time, and it's supposed to be a dynamic mic that if you put it close, hopefully I was thinking maybe it would only pick up my voice and not all that background music, or background noise. And I tried it in my camera, and it doesn't work at all. The camera won't pick it up. I think the jack is wrong or something. So I'm gonna have to go to Canon and see what kind of microphones they recommend for that.
Yeah. You know him better now?
I can hear you. I can hear you. It's hard to tell, Dave. If you only say something quick, it picks it up. But if you start talking for very long, like a whole sentence, it seems like it drops off.
Robin. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe if you just if you're gonna do the Hangouts, just get yourself a cheap little microphone, and that'll probably solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I did, I just got earphones with a mic on an inline mic.
Yeah.
You picture everything, except for the night when it picked up all the...
You can get them for pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, like $10.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the night it picked up all the yelling from the employees in there.
Yeah, I got mine's the Skull Candy. They're pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's where I got Skull Candy.
Yeah.
I used to have one, but I lost it. It got kind of messed up, so.
Still your son's. I'm sure he has one somewhere around.
You might have yours.
Yeah. Maybe trade it.
Your microphone.
Yeah, do stuff with some money.
Oh boy, did I tell you I actually have a room in the hotel for the Jersey Fest?
Oh, that's great. You were able to get one at the hotel that it's at?
Yeah, it was weird because I got the hotel about 5 miles away. No big deal, a little driving. Yeah, and then like a week afterwards, Jersey Fest sent out an email saying there's still rooms available, which is I thought was weird. So called in and got my reservation down there first, and then I canceled the other one.
Yeah, there was something strange with that because a guy that we talk to all the time on TeamSpeak called Network Wraith, he was wanting to go, and on the hotel, I don't remember if I got this backwards or not. If he either said that Jersey Fest initially said they were booked up, or the hotel said they were booked up, but he went through one or the other, and they still had a whole open block of rooms or whatever, and you get a little, I guess, I don't know if he said he got a little discount because he was going to Jersey Fest or something like that, but he got his room. He just got it the other day, so he's gonna be there all 3 days. I'm only gonna be there 2 days, but
come on, boy, if I can be there for 3 days.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't get my flights. In fact, my flight out of there, I'm gonna be cutting it razor thin on the being able to be at the closing ceremony thing, because the last flight out of there for San Antonio was like at 5:30, and the closing ceremony is at 4:30. So I'm gonna be cutting it really thin. You gotta have like at least 30 or 40 minutes once you get to the airport to make it through all that security crap and everything. So I'll be cutting it pretty thin. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. That's going to be a great show. It's the list of modelers that are going to be doing all the seminars and everything. There are some amazing people. I mean, they're world famous modelers from all over the place.
Good speak, Deb.
I think I fixed it.
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you better now, Dave.
Can you?
Yeah, much better. What did you have to do?
I had to adjust it on the Google Plus thing over here.
Okay. Yeah, it's sounding a lot better now.
But that fixed it.
Amen to that. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. Oh, I guess there it goes. Never mind.
Don't mess with me.
You know what I was going to do with this starship here is I was going to put a motion picture era with this one. Like I said before. Don't have any spotlights in here now. Get that one out. I popped it by accident.
Ah.
It's running off of 9 volts. And, yeah.
That should be really nice. Can't wait to see how that one comes out, Dave. What color are you going to paint that overall?
I'm going to paint it white.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking about doing the Aztec pattern on like the Enterprise 1701 refit.
Right.
But I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking about doing my own Aztec pattern to it. Just thinking my own. I haven't decided yet.
Yep. Well, being that it's a completely unique ship, you can take a lot of make your own, kind of create your own pattern on that. That'll be pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's something that
You're getting flanked by Klingons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I did a detail impulse engines and a torpedo launcher on the back.
Nice.
Like I said, I'm making a Katinga, kinda like, and I might have messed up on this a little bit, but if you watch Star Trek The Motion Picture, you can clearly tell that little red line right there.
Yeah, he's catching on fast, Dave. we got us a young up and coming Trek fan. I'm glad to see that.
That's
Keep
really
it alive.
good to see
Keep
that.
it alive.
Yeah.
Keep it going. Pass it on. Pass it forward.
Thank you.
Well.
I got another question about that paint again, guys, just real quick. They're asking if you need to make a special order to get them to sell you the individual bottles. No, I mean, I just go on their website and order, like I was running low on the red, and I just ordered 1 bottle of red, and they'll send you individual bottles or 4 at a time or whatever you want to do.
Well,
They have a phone number, too, on their website, so you can call them directly and talk to them if you don't want to order online, so... The shipping is really fast, too. I think I put my online order in, and in 2 days I had the paint.
Yeah, that's fast.
You tell them to actually have
That's
somebody-
Amazon fast.
Yeah. So,
How many of you guys out there got this? The 1,000 scale.
the refit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David, did you ever see my version of that?
No, I didn't, Boyd.
There you go. Oh, I got to turn my camera back on.
Yeah, by him.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, I remember that.
oh wow, that's nice.
That's from Star Trek 3 when they self-destructed it.
Yep, when
Yeah.
Klingons were aboard it.
Now, this saucer you can actually get from a guy called Brad Hare. It's a resin piece,
Oh,
and
really?
it fits right on your, your main secondary hull. But I got the Paragraphics. Paragraphics makes a photo etch set for this that has all the battle damage on it. Oh, you have it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, and it works really good. And it makes that really nice detail. And what I did is I just made my own little holes, here and there on the body, and then I put those in from the inside. So when you look into the hole, you can see all the detail, like of all the decks and everything in there. And Believe it or not, you can't really see it on here, but I put all the Aztec decals on it too, and then just painted over them.
That's what I'm gonna do with mine too.
Yep.
That's nice.
Yeah, I did that in one of Chris's crazy. He had like 1 week to build that thing or whatever, so that's what I did.
I can't wait for the Reliant to come out. The 1,000 scale Reliant.
Me either.
That's gonna be nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be back to that pretty soon. I got a friend that you guys might have heard of him, Elliot Brown. He's really good at photo etch. He's got a company called Fedoratron and Warm Plastic. He's got 2 different model companies, and he's actually working on some photo etch parts for that because that model needs. It's such a nice model. I mean, it needs to have all that detail, like the grills that go on the impulse engines and the airlock hatches, and we tried using the Paragraphics photo etch set and just scaling it up, but it didn't work out because the shapes of the model are different than they are on the AMT kit. But so we're doing it from scratch, and Jerry's helping me out with that too. Jerry's actually, what he did is he took some tracing paper and he put it right on the model and traced out the shapes and everything, and sent that on to Elliot so we can get everything exactly right. But
yeah, I was about to get back to that, bud. I was really enjoying the videos.
Yeah, I can't wait to get started on again too. I'm going to be working on that here in a little while after I get this refit wrapped up. I got 3 more refits to build, so I got a lot on my plate.
I'm fixing to build another one, so I'll be having a lot on my plate after this one's done.
David.
Well, Armando's working on a refit too. He didn't talk about it much tonight, but he's been working on his saucer.
I didn't do anything new this week, so that's why I didn't show anything. But yeah, absolutely. I've got a refit on my table. Hopefully, I can get back to it in the next couple of days.
Yep.
David.
Switching back and forth.
In August, I'm sponsoring a bash build. Okay. Anything sci-fi in 1,000 scale, so you may want to start thinking about that. I'll give you more detail later when we iron everything down, but anything sci-fi 1,000 scale.
All right.
Look like you're going to have fun at it.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely have fun with that.
You keep big. I want you to be there too.
Thank you. Oh my God.
I'm hoping I can get this X-Wing done in 30 days.
Don't worry, it's in August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like it'll be fun. I've got a little 1/1000 TOS kit that I want to start on too. I already started working on a little bit. I'm going to make a little Doomsday Machine diagram. I've got a little resin kit of the Doomsday Machine from the original series.
All right.
So I'm going to do a constellation, and I wish the Doomsday Machine was a little bit bigger, but I'm just going to kind of do a forced perspective thing where it's kind of in the background. But I got some neat ideas on how to light it up. The front part of it. The maw, as Decker calls it. It's got a maw that can swallow 12 starships.
Usually do, don't they?
No devil, Jim.
Yeah, I noticed you put a couple of those in your last video.
Yeah, the maw. Did you notice the maw was the trash can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably what they used.
Yeah. Well, I heard it was a windsock from an airport.
That's what it reminded me of when I first saw the episode. Like, man, it looks like a windsock.
They took a windsock and they put some fiberglass resin on it to make it get hard, and then they just painted it. It was a quickie. There's the guy who wrote that episode. He has his own YouTube channel. Is it Theodore Sturgeon or what's his name? I forgot. But he's got his own YouTube channel, and he's on there. He talks about that whole episode, how he walked onto the set and saw the Doomsday Machine and was kind of like, oh, that's not really what I had in mind, but that's, they were on a budget. And it's funny that nobody knows what happened to that prop after they got done with it. There's no pictures of that prop whatsoever that I've ever been able to find.
Probably at an airport somewhere.
Yeah. I didn't think it looked too bad. I thought it looked kind of unusual, and the texture that was on it and everything. I thought it was a pretty cool paint job they put on it. It had like little veins on it. It had like some of it looked a little bit translucent, like you could almost see through it.
Yeah.
It was pretty neat.
All right, Dave. Look like you're gonna get your son his own YouTube channel there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got there? C and an NX01 too. Combination.
The more the merrier. I
Last.
really love seeing how the community has grown incredibly in the last year or two. There's just new channels about model building popping up every day. That's really great.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing video for this X-wing.
Do it, man.
Oh, do it, Matt. I'll use it as a guide.
There you go.
You know, it's all good on the forums when you type everything out. You can get a kind of an idea, but to me, there's nothing that beats a good video of somebody showing what they're actually doing.
I might do some videos about this build, but
Yeah, you should. Like I said, I love getting up in the morning before I go to work and clicking on my subscriptions button and seeing the different videos that people put out.
yeah.
And, it sucks when there hasn't been any for a few days. Start getting
Yeah, I know. I was
like you
I was
didn't get to
checking
read
out-
the newspaper.
Yeah, I was checking out TrekWorks, and there was some sort of gallery video on there, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, he's buying some more time."
yeah, it's exactly what it was.
But it was
keep-
okay because I hadn't seen all those. I think the last one I saw, you were just hand holding and just doing a roam around the room there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
come August when I got 1 year and back into the hobby, I'll probably do a review of all my models.
yeah, yeah. I think people like to see that go back, and some people, it's funny how on my videos, you guys, if you start doing YouTube videos, you'll get the same experience. Some people don't seem to know that you've got other videos. They ask you a question or say something about it, and you go, well, there's 300 and something videos there. You can go back and look at the older stuff, and you can see, like for example, the questions on the Enterprise refit. I've got a I think I'm up to like part 18 now or something like that, and I have it as a playlist on my YouTube channel. So if you can go click on that, and it'll play each episode one after the other, like in order, so you can see like the whole thing, and each one has a description, like what the video is about. So like if you're looking about, you want to find out something about, okay, how do you build the saucer? How do you do the secondary hull? How do you do the lighting? Whatever.
Yeah,
So-
I didn't do that. I want to set up a playlist so I can go back and look at the videos.
All you have to do, Armando, is go in your edit videos thing, and then there's an option in there. It says set up playlist, and you just give it a name, and then you click add, and it will automatically, every time you put one in, it'll automatically put it in order. You know what I mean?
Well, can I do that with your videos though, so I can refer back to specific videos, or?
Yeah. Well, I didn't make a playlist out of all of them. The Enterprise refit I did, and I've got one started on that De Boer Reliant, but it's only at part 2 right now. But yeah, the refit, if you go to my channel and click on playlist, you'll see the playlist there. You actually have to go to my, if you go to my, click on one of my YouTube videos, you click on my name, where it says TrekWorks. That'll take you to my actual channel page, and then you'll see the playlist there. And it will play them one after the other in order.
Yeah, I put some of my favorite board episode. I put on my like or see later list. And
Yeah, if you're going to do a build or whatever, you can make your own playlists and everything like that, and then later on people can go back and reference the same way. But yeah, I hope you guys all start doing videos and everything. It's the more the merrier, man. I think it's great that we have this YouTube thing even available to us. You kind of get frustrated with it sometimes because it seems like every other day now, just like Google, they're changing something on it, like how the menu works and where you find everything. But as long as they don't turn it into like pay-per-view or something, I'll stick with it.
Boyd, there was something I did mean I had been to ask you on the refit. The photo etch part that you mentioned that you put on the saucer side for the officers' lounge, because I've already painted and sanded and painted all that. How do I put the photo etch on there now? Do I have to cut out the window and glue it in and do some work?
Armando, it will fit right in that slot. If you look on your, do you have your refit saucer handy there anywhere?
Yeah, yeah. Let me go get it.
Really?
Not quite.
Like, okay, all talking.
All right.
Okay, if you look where that they call that the rec deck, you see those two elongated slots?
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at your photo etch parts, all they are is they're going to look like two rows of little teeth with a little.
Exactly. Yeah.
They'll fit right in there.
So I just put them flush in there and glue them in place, and that's
That's
it.
it. That's it. Yep.
Okay.
You might
and
have
what
to.
about
You
these
might
two
have to
holes?
put. Oh, those are supposed to be the round windows on the edges. Those are supposed to look like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Because
Just the only
the
thing they
part
give
that
you.
comes with this is the part that comes with the kit. Obviously, I'm not going to use that.
No, you don't use that at all. And
I didn't use mine either.
um, what you're going to do there, Armando, is you're just going to put them in, and then, like I showed, the same way I did everything else, you put a piece of tape on the front, on the outside, and put the photo etch pieces in from the back. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then
Okay.
put a couple of drops of CA glue on to hold them in place, and then pull your tape, and they should be nice and flush.
So I guess I should paint them before I put them in there. Paint them the same color as the hull.
No, put them in, because you're going to do a little bit of putty work too. Put them in, and you're going to see around the edge, you're going to need a tiny little bit of filler to fill the little line where they go on the edges. And then sand them down, and then paint it. Paint the frames and everything before you put the glass in it.
Okay. And the glass is going to be what?
I just use some of that. I just use some of that blister pack stuff. I cut that out. You know that if you buy like something that comes in a little blister pack, clear plastic, that's what I use. Cut it out.
I know what he's talking about.
Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, Armando, that I found out the hard way. Okay. Don't even bother putting any glass in it. It's going to get messed up. I had masked mine off, and it'll be better if you just put some. Do you have any microcrystal clear?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What's going to happen there is you're not going to get like a perfectly clear, as if it were glass. You know what I mean? Like looking into it. But microcrystal clear dries much more. How do you say it? Clear than canopy glue. It will look almost like glass. To where like if you do look in it, you'll be able to see like all the detail in that room and everything. You know what I mean? But it won't be like as perfectly transparent as glass. But what I'm trying to say is that saving that lip, you know, like around the edge, like I did where I masked it and everything, I had tape over the window. Well, when you're sanding and everything, you're going to wind up scuffing that edge down a little bit. And so I sanded away a little bit of the paint that I had on around the windows. So I took some masks that I had that are in the orbital dry dock masking set. There's little masks for the windows that go, you know, for that rec deck. And when I put them in there, they didn't seal good enough because the windows were recessed a little bit. And so I got a little bit of overspray around the edges of the windows. See what I mean?
Right.
On the glass. And there's no way to get in there and fix that, because if you take like a little Q-tip or something with something on there and you try to like get it off, it's gonna attack the plastic and it's gonna make it all fogged up and you won't be able to see anything.
Sure.
What I wound up doing to fix it is I really carefully took a toothpick and I went in and I pushed the glass in. I actually pushed my glass so that it fell down, like fell out of the way. And then I went back with some microcrystal clear and put that in, and you can see in there really good. It just looks sort of like I don't know, like it's in a fishbowl a little bit. You know, like it's not perfectly clear like glass, but you can still see all the detail in the room, and you can still see that little screen I got in there that's flickering and everything, and that's going to have to be good enough. It's really hard to save that detail when you got to do that putty, because that seam is so close to it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
unless you figure out a way to mask it and everything, you know what I mean? You might be able to put real glass in there. But you're gonna have to really be precise on the masks.
I'll see what I can do. If not, I'll just do that. I'd be happy with crystal clear as long as you can see through, I guess.
Yeah, and the windows are so small that you can put a real thin dab of that crystal clear in there and wipe it with a rag, so that it'll be so thin that when it dries, it's just as good as glass. I mean, like I said, I can look in mine and I can see all the detail and everything in there. It's not like it's all blurred out or whatever. You know, it still looks really good.
All right.
But the rest of the model, I use that blister, from a blister pack. I made my Arboretum windows with that. I made the window for the officer's lounge on the top, on the back of the bridge, and I like that stuff because it'll curve a little bit. It's, you can glue it in with canopy glue and it'll curve and it'll stay close up to the window frame. You know what I mean? Not look like it's too far behind it.
When you say blister pack, you're talking about the actual little bubbles you use them as a window, the plastic?
No, like if you buy anything, like if you go to the store and buy some grapes or something, they come in a little clear container made of clear plastic. It's real flimsy.
It's relaxed.
Well, I mean, here's some of it right here. Here's a little computer fan, and it's got the blister pack.
Right, gotcha.
Every time I get some of this stuff, I save it. I cut it up and save it because it works great. And if it's got if it's got some scratches on it, you just take some of that polishing compound that I use on the clear, and it'll polish it up like primo, like brand new.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
It's so clear when you put it in there that you can't even see it. I mean, you won't even see it until like you turn it a certain way, and then maybe the light will reflect on it. But I mean, it's like crystal clear, like perfect glass. And it's nice because it's thin, and like I said, it'll bend and conform to shapes and things like that. And it's readily available. I mean, you can get it I've got a whole bunch of that stuff piled up out in my garage. Every time my wife brings something home with a little clear plastic like that, I save it. I've made car windows out of it. I've had glass that came out of a kit or something that had a bad gouge in it or something, and I replaced it with that, and it works great.
All right. I think I found the spot where I'm going to hide the charge for the battery and maybe even the switch.
And I'll tell you, if you're using Ralph's photon board, don't put resistors on those LEDs. I found that out the hard way too.
Oh, really?
I was really lucky I was able to save that. I was thinking I was going to have to take that whole neck off of there, man, and that would have been bad news.
Suck. Suck is the word you're looking for.
Yeah.
Sucked.
I pretty much would have probably been better off starting a whole new secondary hull if that would have happened, because it would have ruined everything. It would have ruined the decals. It would have ruined the paint, the putty work, everything. It would have been pretty much start all over. There's only about 200 hours into that secondary hull already.
Well, like you said, you fixed it, so you're professional.
Yeah, no, more like dumbass for not paying attention in the first place.
Well,
that was totally a bad mistake. I mean, the instructions were right in front of me, and I'm thinking, hey, I've already done 3 or 4 of these. I know what I'm doing, and nope. Got to look at those instructions, man, and check them out, and test run everything. The problem that I ran into was when I tested that circuit, like I said, I connected it to direct power, 9 volt, coming off of my power supply, and of course that's enough, to light them with the LEDs. But that board, when you put a meter on it, only puts out about 4.5 volts, because it has a resistor on it.
Right.
And Yeah, and so having that resistor there and a 470 ohm resistor on the LED, it was not enough current to make it light. I'm like, darn it. At first, I thought that I had, something wrong with the board, but I took an LED and touched it right on there and hit the button, and it lit right up, and I was like, oh man, that's not good. But
Yeah, then you start thinking broken wire or something somewhere
yeah,
inside.
exactly. So
Well, I'm glad-
one thing that I would like to find out more about, and I don't know where to find this stuff, but I need to find somewhere that makes a bunch of these little like miniature connectors, because that would be the ticket for doing some of these models, where you could build a little harness. For example, like instead of having 5 or 6 wires hanging out of my pylons right now, I could have it all on a little clip that when I build the nacelle, I have the female clip that joins onto it, and I just plug it in, tuck it inside the pylon, and done deal.
Okay, you
Maybe
mean
like the little 2-prong clips?
Well, you're going to need more. Well, you could do it with 2-prong if you're going to, if you got room to have more than one of them, but being that there's going to be like multiple circuits in the nacelle, for example, I got a separate wire that's got to run the strobe light. Then I got a separate wire that's going to power up the floodlight. A separate
Right.
wire that powers up the chiller grill. You see what I mean? So I got to have maybe like a 4-pin connector. And I know there's a company called JST or something like that makes them. A lot of RC car people or whatever, they have them. They're for connecting servos and things like that. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah, their lighting kits have a lot of those. They're already pre-done like that.
yeah, that would be nice, and that way you could do like the neck, like where it goes, everything that goes up in the saucer and all that, instead of having all them loose wires that you got to solder at the end. Just have it all nice and neat where you can just go clip, and stick it right down on there and you're done. That would be great.
Hey, boy, there's a couple of electronic companies out there. I forgot the name of them. But if you Google electronics, it come up one of them, Jamco, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And I really hate to say this, but I really know, and I think this may be a good place to get it because they got RC cars there. Radio Shack.
Maybe. Yeah.
That place I go to is about everything's designed.
The thing that you would look for anyway is that they would be really small, so they could fit.
Yeah, micro male female connectors.
Yeah, they could fit in between the little gaps, and things like that.
Yeah.
And then maybe put some heat shrink over them once you put them together, and so that they can't come apart and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean that would be a big make it so you could do a little bit cleaner job and not have to try to solder everything at the end. I mean, for me, like I went back and forth this time because when I did my first refit, I built the nacelle completely and then went to put it on. I had to solder all the wires and then kind of tuck them down into the pylon.
Right.
Because you don't want the wires to go up into the nacelle or they can wind up getting in front of the chiller grill. When you light it, you'll see like shadows of wires in front of your lighting and stuff like that. So this time what I thought about doing was gluing one half of the nacelle on there, putting all the electronics in it, connecting up all the wiring, and then put the other half on, and then do the putty work. Boy, if you're going to do the Aztec painting, that would be like really hard to maneuver around on that model and get all those masks put on those nacelles.
Right.
And so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to have to do it the way I did before, build the nacelle completely and then put it on. If it wasn't for those masks, I'd try it the other way. But the masks make it to where you gotta be able to have them in your hand and flip them over and get really close to them and put the masks on and everything. So
well, you got
won't work.
You got enough room to run the wires through, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
How about taking a piece of heavy thread, tie it to the magnet wire, and just pull it down through using the thread.
Yeah. Yep. Like I said, what I did is I get a couple of books or something and stack them up so that the nacelle is like sitting really close to the pylon, and then I can make my wires, like I can have it sitting there while I'm working on it, and I just make my wiring really short, and and then put heat shrink tubing on it and just tuck the wires down into the pylon as I push the nacelle on and do it like that. And that's what I'll have to do again this time. But when you that's one thing when you find out when you start building models to do and you start doing lighting, you find out you have these issues you got to deal with like that. You know, it even changes the order in which you build the model. You can't necessarily build a model the way the instructions show out of the box if you're going to do lighting, because there's certain things that have to go together, get the wiring run through it and modify for your lighting and things like that. So when you do lighting, it changes a lot of the way it's being built.
Yeah, text.
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Shannon.
Good night, Shannon.
Hi, Shan. I stopped by a hobby store when I went to go see the doctor last week, and I talked to the guy asking what is his shop doing as far as models, bringing younger people into modeling. He said, well, he's trying to have it like a father son or father and daughter model club. He said he's trying to get that together. But mostly he started off with a model club for RC. After 3 months, the only people there was just the dads, and they were just doing all their work.
Yeah.
But he said he's going to try and do model club for the kids. Something for fathers do their son and daughter. He's going
Like I said, we talked about that last week quite a bit on the Hangout, and I still think that, presented in the right way, and if the subjects are something that young people like, they'll build the models. They may not be, all you're trying to do really is, like we said last week, plant that seed, and then like maybe when they are 12 years old, they don't show a lot of interest in it or don't stay with it. But later on, when they get to be like 20, 25, 30 years old, they go back to it, like a lot of us did.
right.
Like we said too last week, I went to a pretty big school, and in all the schools that I went to, elementary, middle school, and high school, all the schools I were in had quite a few kids, and I couldn't find any other kids around that unless they just didn't talk about it, or I never had a chance to sit down and talk about it. But I didn't know any other kids in school even back in the 70s that were building models, and that's pretty much when it was in its heyday. So I mean it's there, and it could be very well be that maybe the younger kids, they start out and they build a couple of the Gundam models and they like those, and then like I said, they go away from it for a few years and then they come back, and that as long as we get some people that are at least doing that, it'll keep going.
Right. Well, my godson, he's 13. He's building dragon models out of Lego. I went looking for styrene dragon models and couldn't find any.
Well, that should show you too that kids are still interested in building something with their hands. Maybe it's not a model, but Legos are still selling. Like Legos are still really popular. I mean,
I don't even look at constructions when I do models or Legos, because models and I just don't even look at the constructions.
All right, so I'm gonna see about what I'm gonna take him up to the hobby shop near where he lives. He's lucky. He's 5 miles away from a great hobby shop. And
hey, Eric, I'll tell you what. Here's what you can do. I just saw it the other day, and I didn't even know the kit was out. But if he's into dragons, Pegasus has a really beautiful dragon kit they put out of the dragon from the movie Dragon Slayer.
Okay.
I saw it on the shelf, and I almost bought it right on the spot because I love dragons too. And that particular dragon from that movie is my absolute favorite. And it's got the whole little like diorama where the dragon's there and the little guy with the. If you remember the movie, he made that shield out of dragon scales, so it couldn't burn him. And he's about to do battle with it, and it's a really great model. And Pegasus, if it's any indicator of their other kits, that should be a really nice quality kit. And there you go. You can get that kit for him and say, here you go.
Okay, I'm gonna look for that. Yeah, because Greg had, like I say, he had the Grey Hobby Shop less than 5 miles from him. He knows the place. Yeah, I mean, he did those Boy Scout Derby models, so he knows the place. His mother knows the place. I know the owner, so I want him to get into it.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
also the gaming kits. There's some Dragon kits.
Well, I just want to do something with plastic right now. I don't want anything resin or
It is
anything metal
plastic.
right now.
It is
Alright.
plastic. Yeah, all the gaming stuff is going to plastic.
All right.
Yeah,
there's
check it out.
several of them out there that some Dragon kits, some big Dragon kits, some small Dragon kits, and they're made out of plastic and they're fairly simple to put together, and you get a base and all that stuff for gaming.
All right, guys. I want to say goodnight because it looks like I'm going to drop out here soon. My battery's almost dead.
Okay, Eric. Take care,
All right.
buddy. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye, John Boy.
Yeah. At the hobby store, they also had that Pegasus Great White Shark kit, which I thought was intriguing. I picked that up and looked at it too. I was like, man, this would be fun to build this. They offer it in, excuse me, it comes with 2 different heads. You can either have the mouth open or kind of half open or whatever, and it looked really cool. I mean, has a little diver in the cage. You could definitely do that. That scene from Jaws. Hooper.
Right.
Get rid of the camera and just have him have that dart gun in his hand, and that would be really sweet.
Well, they live in that right now. Just saw a picture of a great white off the coast of Rhode Island this past week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're making a comeback. They say they thought that the numbers were getting down there, but they're all of a sudden popping up everywhere. So
More seals.
hopefully that little conservation that they've been doing on them's been helping out. I mean, because we always look at it, I mean, without trying to sound political or whatever. I mean, the water belongs to the sea animals, and we go in there and want to swim or whatever, and we're just like, hey, we want this to be like a swimming pool where let's kill everything, like to make it to where we can enjoy it. Well, I mean, that's their domain, you know what I mean? So leave them alone.
Not be political either, but we dump half the stuff in our swimming pools like we do in the ocean. We wouldn't go swimming in our pools.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see that they're making a comeback. I've always been fascinated with sharks and all the undersea stuff. I mean, I used to, I don't know if you guys remember the Jacques Cousteau show that used to be on.
Yeah.
I used to love that show when I was a kid, man. And I see his son, or I think one of his grandsons, is actually going to come out with a new Jacques Cousteau Under the Sea show here coming up pretty soon. So
Right, his grandson. He's
that'll be cool.
They've done some underwater lab. I think Jacques Cousteau was even in that one. He's there.
You had to love the way the guy talked, man. Especially when he said Calypso. We're going to take a cruise on the Calypso. That Calypso was a beautiful boat, man, with a helicopter pad on the top and everything. That would actually be a pretty cool model. Surprised nobody ever made a model of that.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder if there's one out there.
Yeah.
Probably a small fortune.
Yeah, another model I'd like to do is the Orca from Jaws, the Captain Quint's fishing boat.
I seem to remember they did have a kit of that.
Yeah.
Way back when Jaws came out, whatever it was, 70, whatever.
76.
Yeah, I think I remember them having a.
I've seen some YouTube videos that guys have done some beautiful scratch build, completely out of wood. I mean, like with every little detail. I mean, even the shark jaws up on the front, that he had on the front of it, and then the little, the exhaust pipe with the little flapper thing on it. And, I mean,
Right.
Everything was spot on. He had it all weathered up and everything. That was really cool.
I'm gonna have to watch that again. I haven't watched it in a few years.
Yeah.
That's one good thing about getting old. You don't watch
go
something
back.
for a couple of years, and you can go back and it's almost brand new again because you forgot.
Get the Blu-ray tag. I got it on Blu-ray, the 30th or whatever. It looks gorgeous on Blu-ray, man. They did a.
They remastered it.
Yeah. It looks
yeah,
cool.
I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. When it came out, I was like, wow, now this is a movie. This is how you make a movie.
It's still, to me, one of the best ever summer popcorn movies, if you want to call it that. Blockbuster, summer movie that they've ever done. Maybe that one and Close Encounters was another one that was a summer blockbuster that I always remember.
Yeah, I just watched that a couple of nights ago. I went back and rewatched it because I hadn't seen it in so long, and it's still good. I mean, that's how you know a movie's good, is it lasts.
My favorite part's when they find the old TBF Avenger airplanes out in the desert, and they go start them up, and they're like brand new. It's supposed to be that Flight 19 that got lost in the Bermuda Triangle.
Right.
That was really cool.
Have you seen the movie Bermuda Tentacles?
What?
Bermuda Tentacles, sci-fi movie.
What is it supposed to be? A giant squid or something pulling everything down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got. I think it's got Linda Hamilton. Linda Hamilton's a colonel on the boat on the battleship or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
but
looks old.
Sounds like Sharknado.
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean,
That's hilarious.
well, I watch a lot of sports, but when it's not on sports, it's on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
So I watch all these, and I mean these are the new B movies. You know, it's everybody can kind of cheaply do 3D effects now. You know, with the way the computers are and stuff, and everybody needs a job. So, and they're so hokey, they're really kind of fun. You know,
just like the original B movies from the 50s, they were cheesy, but they were still great. I don't mind it if they're not like always all high budget. Sometimes they're actually more entertaining. I'll give you a good example too. Did you guys see a few years ago that movie Battleship, where they had the whole premise of it was supposed to be, you know, we had our there were some parts of that movie that were really cool, but I thought they got like way too dragged into the love triangle thing, and the guy that was like the bad boy or whatever that was, you know, not obeying orders or whatever. They would have just got to more action. The movie would have been a lot better. But when that ship, the John Paul Jones, sunk, you got to admit that scene when they showed it going down from above with the propellers turning and stuff, that looked pretty cool. But there's a movie that they made as a B movie that's very similar in the plot to that, except it's the battleship Missouri, and Mario Von Peebles is the captain of the ship. And I don't know if it's on. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube, or it might be on Netflix. But I actually watched it, and it was really good. I mean, it was like, some of the special effects weren't up there, but that movie is what Battleship should have been. You know what I mean? It gets into a lot more of the, you know, battling the aliens and the ships that they have, and of course, seeing the Missouri is really cool, and they really did a good job. I guess they filmed the whole thing, you know, on the Missouri, sitting still in Hawaii. You know, it's permanently docked there now. And they did a good job making it look like it was actually really out to sea, and, you know, the guns were firing and everything. So I really liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
I think I did see that. It's been a while ago, but I think I do remember seeing that because Mario Van Peebles is not that great of an actor. He does a lot more directing, but I always remember him in one of the horrible Highlander sequels.
Jaws the Revenge.
Yeah, he always got those little, you know.
He's always a Jamaican guy or whatever. He's like, oh, the shark is going to kill us, man. What are we going to do?
Yeah. He speaks probably better English than I do.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's actually not too bad as the captain of that ship. I mean, he was like, you know, he had kind of a serious role, and and like I said, they had a whole thing where they sent like a Navy SEAL team out to one of the alien ships and boarded it, and the battle that they have on board the ship inside is pretty good and everything, so it's pretty neat. They made it like the ships had a cloaking device, so they did this pretty cool thing where they showed like the frogmen getting on it, and they're like hovering in midair, you know, like they're on the deck, and the ship is moving through the water, and they're like floating above the water and stuff, and they had some interesting things in it. It's everything that Battleship should have been, but without the high dollar budget.
Battleship was kind of cliche.
Yeah, I was disappointed. It was a good idea, but they just didn't. They had too much character in it, not enough action.
American Warships.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah. It had Carl Weathers in it too.
That's right.
Yeah, Carl Weathers was the general. Yeah, that was the only thing that was kind of hokey, is that little command room they had. Looked like a little meeting room in a hotel that they kind of tried to dress up. It was It
that
was
was
really.
supposed to be like, yeah, the main headquarters of Navy headquarters. You're like, no,
I know,
no.
I know, and it's like, man, I know this is a Marriott conference room. I've seen those before. Just
Yeah,
throw up some flags and a few laptops on some pop-up tables.
yeah. If like I said, if you can overlook a little bit of that, it's not too bad. Then a lot of us this last week were watching that new Star Trek: The New Voyages episode that came out. They did the Mirror Universe episode, and that was pretty good. I liked it.
Is that somebody did that? It's like a
Yeah,
fan thing?
Star Trek
or?
continues. I think they're the best crew that's doing it. The guy that plays the captain is the best one I've seen so far. The sets that they're using are spot on. I mean, and they're the how do you say it? The production quality of this show is by far better than any of the other ones I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the music, the lighting, where they recaptured the original TOS lighting, where they've got the weird colors in the background, and the way they show the characters being lit, the up close shots.
Right.
It looks spot on, and the CGI effects for it are done by Doug Drexler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they're what is it? Star Trek the what?
Star Trek Continues.
Okay.
There's another one called Phase 2, The New Voyages or whatever, and they're just not that great. I mean, the guy they had playing the captain, this guy named James Cawley, I didn't like him. He's a guy that's actually an Elvis impersonator, and he's a skinny kind of guy, and he has an Elvis hairdo as Captain Kirk, the pompadour hairdo from the 50s or
Right.
whatever. I'm like, come on,
The
man.
only thing missing is the
Expect him-
sunglasses.
Yeah, you just expect him to turn at the camera and go,
Yeah.
or whatever, and you just
Put
like,
some
come
rhinestones
man.
on the
Yeah.
captain's uniform.
That's not Captain Kirk. Now, and I was going to say, in this New Voyages, or Star Trek Continues, they're bringing back some of the original stars.
Oh, really?
Tag, like let's see, the first episode they made, they brought back Apollo, the guy that played Apollo in the original
right.
episode. Yep, they brought him back. The second one, they had, well, not an original, but they have Lou Ferrigno in it. He plays an alien, and he's really good. And James Doohan's son plays Scotty, and he's spot on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
When they show him at certain angles, now he doesn't quite have the Scottish accent as good as, he's not quite as good as James Doohan. But there's certain, Armando will probably tell you the same thing because I know he watched it. There's certain scenes when they show him and you'd swear it's James Doohan.
Yeah,
They show him from a few feet away or whatever. You just go, wow, that's an awesome Scotty. I mean, he has the same body movements and everything, man. It's like, wow, that's really cool.
Of course he's going to have that,
The guy that's doing Kirk, his voice is a little bit, everybody, the complaint that everybody has about him is his voice sounds a little bit feminine. But he has the Kirk look and the body language where he gets stiff when he starts talking, and the swagger that he had and everything. It's just spot on, man. When they're showing scenes of him like from behind, like when you're looking over his shoulders or whatever, you'd swear it's William Shatner. It's just like, wow, they did a great job on this. Some of the other ones that they did, you could see like on the sets were like when they have, you would see like a doorway open or something, you'd see the hall or whatever. You could tell it was fake, like where they just had the hall like right up against the door and it was like a painting or something.
Right.
These guys have the entire set, like everything, the engine room, the transporter room, the auxiliary control room, the medical, Dr. McCoy's whatever. They have it perfect. I mean, in every detail. This mirror universe thing that what they did is they told the story of the opening scene. You see Kirk standing at the transporter control panel talking to the mirror Spock, and he's that same exact dialogue word for word where he says he's getting ready to, Spock's getting ready to beam them out, and he's saying and he goes, it only takes one man to start a revolution, Mr. Spock. And in my quarters, there's this machine that will give you the power to if you remember the end of the original Mirror Mirror episode, he tells them about
Right.
the Tantalus machine or whatever. But what they do is they beam out, and the bad crew, or the Mirror crew, they beam back in and they pick up the whole story from there on out, like on the the ISS Enterprise, of what happened.
Wow,
And
yeah, I definitely got to check that out.
it's great, man. It's filmed in high definition, so it looks really good, and you can watch it right now on YouTube. It's free, man. All their episodes are free. You can download them. It's great.
Yeah, I'm talking with my little brother because I think it's time for Star Trek another iteration to come back around.
Yep, I hope they do.
Yeah, and I kind of like a lot of the stuff that they did with the J.J. Abrams as far as visual. I mean, visually, J.J. Abrams, it's spot on. And I actually kind of like the characters too because they're a little more modern, a little more up to date. So I like both the movies.
I had no complaints about the people that are playing the characters at all. I think they're all really good, the actors.
Yeah, and I think if they push that to a series, with the same stuff. I mean, Joe and I were talking, and we were like, I'd kind of like to see some sort of series where they're all out on the Reliant. They're doing something out on a Reliant, some version of a Reliant, and just doing their little gig or whatever. Even if it's
Reliant or the Excelsior or one of the other ships. Yeah.
Yeah, because I like the idea of Voyager. I mean, the ship being smaller, because it was more like I guess kind of like a PT boat. You go out and you're quicker, you're smaller, and you go check stuff out so the bigger ships can come in. And of course, it almost failed until they got 7 of 9, and then everybody watched.
I liked Voyager the best. I liked Voyager and DS9 the best of the spin-off series. The reason I really like Voyager is it was, to me, it was closest to the formula of the original series where they were out on their own in the unknown, where, like, what bothers me about the Next Generation is that everything is, like, already established, it seems like. It's like every time they would, very rarely did they run into people that they had never encountered at all before. Like, they would get something, and then Data would say something, and Picard would go, "Oh yes, I've dealt with these people before," and he'd go on the screen and be like this diplomat guy, like, "Yeah, we're we worked this out already, what's going on," or whatever. And they did have some new aliens they eventually brought in, but it started off really slow, where they had it too much established, like everything was too comfortable. The Enterprise and the Next Generation, almost in the beginning, they got away from it finally, and they got smart, but it looked like a cruise ship. But the people were like too relaxed and too, like there wasn't any suspense or any danger to it. And the original series, they were in a 5-year mission where, like, in order to be a starship captain, you had to be somebody who was really, really good at, like, doing a lot of different things. And that's why it was really rare to get to be a starship captain, because you're making your own decisions about what, like, with what the Federation would do and, like, what humans should do. You're, like, representing the human race, and you're out all on your own. There's nobody that's going to help you or anything. I mean, you pretty much have to, make a lot of really important decisions and things like that. And I thought Voyager was a lot more like that, and the crew was a lot more close-knit because that's all they had. I mean, they all had to kind of learn how to do different things and all that too. So
yeah, the Next Generation was definitely more diplomatic than it was, seeking out like the original, wagon train in space, where everything was unknown, hadn't been there before. And I think they tried to do that, what you're talking about, with Enterprise. They tried to get back to that original formula, but by that time, I just don't think it was the right time. I don't think that they were in between generations, I think, and by coming out with that, it didn't appeal to the ones that had already moved on, and the ones that were younger weren't that interested in it.
Right. Yep.
I mean, my dad watched it, and I tried to watch it, and I couldn't get into it. I just, it's not that anything was bad. There was just something missing. There was like no chemistry or something, in the whole presentation. It was kind of weird.
Well, there's a rumor that keeps constantly floating around all over on the internet, and actually, Doug Drexler's been talking about it, promoting a little bit. Netflix is looking at bringing back Enterprise and having it on Netflix.
Oh, really?
They want to do a season 5, and apparently they've already spoken to the principal actors, and they're all up for it. But there starts getting to be a question of how long do you wait before you do it before they start getting too old? Because what they want to do is they want to fit it, like bring it back in like almost seamlessly. You know what I mean? Like nothing even happened, and they're gonna pick up right at season 5 where they left off on the storyline, because fans of the show pretty much agree that maybe like 3/4 of the way through season 3 and season 4 is when it finally got its legs, and it was really starting to.
Yeah.
They were getting some good stories, and and it all kind of coincided with when they stopped producing the movies. I've always said that I thought that show suffered because they were spreading their resources too thin with the writers and everything.
Right.
As soon as they finished Star Trek Nemesis, season 4 of Enterprise got a lot better. It's like they focused on it, and made sure they had quality stories and good scripts. And no matter what you do with special effects and all that, if you got weak characters and weak story, it's going to be a bomb. I mean, it's not going to work. So, but yeah, I'd like to see it come back. I'd definitely give it a chance. I'm one of them people like you that I started watching it like season 1, and it was so bad that I quit watching it. And I feel bad because I should support any kind of Star Trek, being a fan.
Yeah.
But, I went back later on when I heard other people, talking about it, and said, "Hey, let me give it a chance." And then that episode in A Mirror Darkly came on, and I was like, "Now that's badass, man!" I mean, they made, the 2-part episode where they went back to the TOS stuff, and then I watched some of the other ones around that, and I was like, "Wow, these are actually really good." And then they shut it off. I was like, "Dang it,"
Yeah, I may go back and try to check it out.
Boston, boy, they would have canceled it. See?
Well,
Yeah.
my dad.
Yeah, probably. I feel
Well,
bad.
these days though, you can't wait to the 3rd season to get rolling. I mean, I watch TV shows now, and if you're not kicking butt by the time you get to the 5th or 6th episode of the 1st season, then I'll stop watching. And I've noticed that a lot of other people do too. It's, the way the world is now is like we don't have time to wait for a whole season for you to build character backgrounds and all that stuff. You need to.
Yeah.
And actually, that a lot of it's Lost's fault, because when Lost came out with all these characters, but I mean they hit you with background just right off the bat, and I mean the whole show was like everything falling apart and boom on an island and you're stuck, and then they just started hitting. I mean, it was so quick and fast that everybody got kind of used to that. It was all new, and then they got used to it. Now anything else that comes in, that takes a whole season to get the characters going and stuff, people just get bored and turn it off. There's way too many options out there. There's so many cable channels, and stuff like that.
But overall, I just don't think that right now there's enough sci-fi on television. I mean,
There's not.
There's not a lot.
Fringe was my last really good, science fiction television show that I really, really liked.
I agree.
And I like the fact, that they, I had a problem with season 5 and even my little brother and I would both agree that, when they were fighting them, they should have started bringing in all the stuff they collected the 4 years prior. All the strange stuff that they've been doing, because they used it against them in a few episodes. They should have used one like every episode, and just kept bombarding them. But that was just kind of nitpicky, because they didn't have a lot of time to close it all up, once they found out they were getting canceled. But that's the last really exciting show, sci-fi, that I've watched since.
I would think that now that nerds and geeks are the cool in thing instead of being shunned like we used to be if you read comic books and all that, that now that we're in and we're the cool, that there would be more realization by Hollywood or whoever that this is the market that's there, and that you should give us what we want. You know what I mean? And hopefully we'll see some of that. I have read a couple little articles here and there about they are kicking around the idea of bringing Star Trek back, but I will say that whatever they do, if they bring it back, they're going to need to do it right, or if they don't, they're going to kill it for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree. And that was the same fear they had with Next Generation, you know, because it had been so long, and everybody was like, you know, if this doesn't work, man, we'll probably never see another Star Trek movie or TV show ever again.
yeah,
And fortunately, it did work.
it's expensive to produce, and if you know, like I said, if you turn off the fans, you know, the thing is, you know, like a lot of people are hoping for like what you were saying a minute ago about bringing it back and having it just like the movies, but you're not going to get Chris Pine and whoever, I forgot his name, Zach Quinto that plays Spock. You're not going to get those guys. Those guys aren't going to go from big screen to small screen. I mean, not unless their careers completely tank. And they need to crash.
Not
so
at this
you're going to have to replace them, and then that's taking a risk. And I don't see CBS and Paramount doing that. I don't see them going, well, we're not going to show the same exact timeline, the same thing going on the Enterprise, but we're going to have different actors playing these characters, because they would clash like with the movie or whatever. So whatever they do, I think it'll be either slightly forward in time of that, or slightly behind it, or like you said, possibly on another ship. But I think that taking a big risk if you're not involving the Enterprise. I remember there was a thing with Shatner and Takai. You know, they don't get along, and they're kind of feuding. You know, and Shatner was talking about this really funny thing where he said George Takai came to him and he was going, "Hey, you know, I'm talking about, I got my role in this new movie and I'm going to be captain of the Excelsior," you know, and he's like, "Oh, that's great, George, you know, I'm glad you finally got to be the captain," or whatever. And George was all like gung-ho about it, you know, and he's like, "But you do know that all the action takes place on the Enterprise, right?" He's like, "Huh?" You know, like, yeah, I mean, you might have a little scene here and there, but if you're not the helmsman on the Enterprise anymore, then good luck. You know what I mean? I mean, it's pretty much. He said when he kind of told him, he was just kind of like, that's when it dawned on him. You know, he was kind of like, "Oh, dang," you know. Didn't think about that. This movie is about the Enterprise. You know, maybe if later on and he went around for years trying to promote an Excelsior television show. You know, but just never. He's not strong enough of an actor, I don't think, to carry a show on his own. So
no. Well, crossovers are real big right now, and you could possibly bring in the other ship in the next Star Trek movie, you know, with another crew, you know, like a Reliant, you know, and then you take that ship and that crew and you move it to television. You know, they get their introduction in the movie, and then you got your pilot for the TV show, and just see how it goes.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea. Like I said, if it's done well, I'll watch it. You know, and in fact, if they, I'll promise Doug Drexler, if he sees this or whatever, right away, that if they bring back Enterprise season 5, I'll definitely watch it.
Well, I mean, if JJ, because I mean, even though Almost Human got canceled, that show, they put money into that show. I mean, it wasn't that bad. It just took too long for the characters to start developing and to get its groundwork. Once it was halfway into it, then it started picking up speed, and the story started getting better, and things started to click. But by that time, everybody had already turned the channel, so they got rid of it. But all those guys, you know, are from Abrams' crew. You know, the guys that he started with back with Alias.
Yep.
And stuff. So they're still good writers, and there's a good group of writers, and all the writers for Fringe. I think the week shows were even good.
I don't think that it's so much what people keep saying about that either. That there's no writing in Hollywood anymore, no talented writing. Well, I don't know if it's that so much, or if it's the studios themselves that don't want to pay any money to develop a new concept for a movie. They don't want to take any chances. They're all locked into this. Let's do something that's a proven formula. We're going to spend $200 million making a movie. Let's do something we know that we're going to get our return out of it. And so I don't think it's a lot of people, like I said, are blaming it on writing alone. But I guarantee there's some creative writers out there, but they take these projects to the executives and they look at it and go, yeah, but if the audience doesn't get it, we're going to lose our ass, you know what I mean, on money-wise. But, you know, then again, if you get something that turns out to be an original idea and a smash hit like Star Wars was, or something like that, you did.
The Matrix was huge.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, the lightning in the bottle, though, you can't really predict that. You know,
You got to take that chance, or you'll never find it.
Yeah, you have to have somebody that's going to take that chance, and I mean, obviously, somebody did take that chance with Star Wars and Alien. Also, Alien was another story that he fished around Hollywood trying to get done. You know, O'Bannon that wrote that thing and couldn't get it done, and finally Alan Ladd Jr. You know, because he had some foresight and liked to take chances. Took a chance on it, you know. Next thing you know, boom! Everybody's like, "Oh, have you seen Alien? That thing is the scariest sci-fi movie I've ever seen."
Yeah.
And then, you know, then it just is. Then you get a bunch of clones, terrible clones after that. But I think it's out there. I mean, and then I'm still waiting for, you know, that good sci-fi show like Fringe was, you know, and like it really held on to me every week that I couldn't wait to see it, you know.
Yeah, they come along every so often. Like I said, if they give them a chance and everything, you know, you go back and look at Star Wars, the first Star Wars movie. I forgot what the numbers are, but they made that movie on a tiny budget compared to.
Yeah.
Take for example, I think they spent under $30 million making that movie. Okay.
Yeah, he had a very, very limited budget.
Now you go to Star Trek: The Motion Picture that came out only a year or so later. And talking to the people like I did, the behind-the-scenes people, you know, they've never really said it, but the rumor that they all kind of understood with the real number, that movie cost over $225 million to make it.
Yeah, I believe it.
That was a lot of money in 1979. That'd be like today making about a $1 billion movie almost.
Yeah,
and it was their own fault. They kept shooting themselves in the foot. They kept arguing about what the concept was. They kept, you know, going in a certain direction, and then in the middle of it changing and going to something else. Because, unfortunately, by that time, and this isn't said a lot about Gene Roddenberry, but Gene Roddenberry had really kind of lost his way by that point. He didn't. In fact, they talk about it a lot on the behind the scenes of the Next Generation that was going on there, and the reason the first couple of seasons weren't very good is because he kind of changed his concept of, he didn't want any kind of confrontation, any kind of clash between the crew. Everybody had to be these like straight, clean-cut people with no flaws, you know what I mean? And his vision of the future, he didn't want any kind of violence, like a utopia sort of a thing.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, that's a boring story.
Yeah.
You know, and the writers were really frustrated. They're like, hey, we got the idea for this, and this, and he would shoot it down. And it wasn't until he kind of got removed away from it a little bit that the thing started to pick up. And it's the same thing that was going on with the motion picture. You know, he was interfering with that a lot, and he got dead set on telling a story about man meeting God, and they were saying, hey, you know, that's going to be a really hard story to tell. You know what I mean? On one hand, you could offend a bunch of religious people, and on the other hand, you could offend this whole other group of people, and it's going to be a really tightrope that we're walking on. And if we're trying to make a successful picture, why narrow down your demographic to this small group of people? You want to make it appeal to a broad audience as possible, and that created a lot of problems. And he finally settled on it being V'ger, you know, instead of God, and that V'ger wanted to go back to its home planet and discover that the creator was man instead of, you know, a God thing. And then they went and did that story again in Star Trek V, you know, Shatner.
Yeah, Undiscovered Country.
And that bombed. I mean, that bombed really bad, you know.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's like, well, okay, Gene, let's wait till we make a crap load of money, and then we'll let you do, you know, your story. I didn't like the uniforms in the motion picture because they look like hospital uniforms. Yeah. But the story, I liked the story. I thought it was a very, very original concept. You know, because the whole time you're thinking V'ger, what the heck is V'ger? You know, and this big, huge, computerized knowledge amassing thing, you know, has been coming back to Earth and just wiping everything out in its way. You know, and then finally come to it was very typical of what the original episode of Enterprise would be like. You know, very, very typical. And then you get all the money and the stuff on it, you know, and Kirk and his, you know, Shatner's got his implants going, and I mean, you know, everything's working, you know, I mean, everything was kicking.
Well, I liked it because I'll always be a big fan of Star Trek the Motion Picture, because as a fan, I followed the show since I was a little kid, and it was a huge thrill to see it come back, because we were always on this roller coaster. 1 minute, oh, it's on, oh, no, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. And there wasn't anything new Star Trek at all coming out. I mean, we got that little animated TV series that we settled for. At the time when I was watching it, I hated it, but I look back at it now and I kind of have fond memories of it, and I like to watch it now when I see it. But at the time it was on, it was really, it wasn't I wasn't getting my fix like I was on the original series, and but I'll always be really fond of the motion picture, because I absolutely love the Enterprise refit. And there's no other Star Trek movie with the original crew that showcases the Enterprise like it does in that movie. The beauty shots we get of it, and the way they filmed it. They never did as good of a job with that. I mean, they used stock shots from the motion picture, and then when ILM took over and started doing new shots of it, the model had been repainted. It was starting to get in bad condition, and they didn't do any more really beautiful close-up shots of it anymore. In fact, they were starting to use like little AMT model kits and stuff, and
it's like really.
Oh yeah, a lot of the shots that you see, and especially in Star Trek V, when they're in that sort of fog or whatever it is, when they're around the God planet or whatever, that Enterprise that you're seeing is the 1537 scale AMT Ertl kit. It's not even the big studio model.
Even the big one?
No.
Yeah, probably the only one they built for that one was, well, you're talking about 5. It was probably a Klingon, huh?
Yeah, and they started relying on the Klingon bird of prey too much. Like, that's the only alien ship they showed anymore. Every movie was the Klingon bird of prey, and in fact, when they blew it up, I think when they blew it up in Voyage Home or Undiscovered Country, when they made Star Trek Generations, they showed the same exact scene of the ship blowing up again when the when the Enterprise D took it out. And it's like, man, you can't even come up with an original shot. I mean, that's getting pretty lame.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what happens on the corporate side. You know, once it becomes the cash cow, you know, then it's cut as much budget as possible. Let's just keep pumping this out, because I don't know if you ever go to like Mojo and see what things do at the box office and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all American movies now really hope to get is to make what they used to make the movie in America. You know, if they spent $200 million on it, all they want to do is make $200 million in America, because in Asia, all the other countries in the world, they'll double that. There'll be $400 million that they'll make there, and then you get DVD sales.
Yeah.
So it's and that's why we have a habit of just pumping this stuff out. I do have to say that a lot of the other countries are getting a whole lot better at their movies, but I still think that ours are still the better of the movies.
Yeah, no question about it. Yeah, they're getting there though. They're doing better.
They're doing a lot better, and a lot of that's just because the ease of the software, computers, and of course cameras and stuff. Because anybody can go get an HD camera now. I watch Neil on his SNG channel, and he just got that new camera, HD camera, to shoot his videos and stuff with. I didn't go research it to see what the price was, because I was afraid to see what the price was.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
No, they're not, but they're getting cheaper all the time, and even I saw Canon, their new DSLR has movie capability on it, you know. Mine does too, but it's, you got a small memory card or whatever, so you can't do a whole lot with it because it's about 2 or 3 years old. But now they're getting to where, you can do it with just a regular camera.
Oh yeah, well HD video, you're going to use up a lot. I mean, when I shoot my little videos in the shop in HD out here, only a 15-minute long video is about 40 gigabytes.
Right.
Shooting in high resolution. So
Right.
yeah, it eats up the memory.
Yeah, I've got this little live cam, the Microsoft Live Cam, and I'm probably going to try to use that to test out on some videos here on building this X-wing to see if it'll fly. 'Cause I saw a guy use it that does miniatures for gaming, and he's right up close on it, and those things are really tiny, but
Yeah.
the focus is really great, and of course it's 1080. And I was just surprised. And of course, I don't know why anybody puts anything 1080 on YouTube. It seems like a waste of.
Nobody's got hardly anybody's got a good enough connection to watch it at 1080. It'll just sit there and chop and lag really bad. 720 is about as high as you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, I can watch it, and some things I do, but most people can't tell the difference between 720 and 1080 anyway. Even when you're watching TV, and you pop in a Blu-ray or whatever, you can't tell that much.
Right.
So yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to give that a try and see if I can do a video here.
Yeah, I hope you do. I really like to see more and more people get into it. It's a great community, and it's nice to have all the different subscriptions. Like I said, when you can get on in the morning and look at all the different videos, or check them out in the evening after I get home, and I just like to see what everybody's doing out there. And I'm into all the different ones. I'll go look at like guys that are building cars, guys that are building World War II airplanes, ships, whatever. I mean, because a lot of the stuff that you're finding that we use on these sci-fi builds are like things like weathering and even just general assembly tips that people give, or different kinds of materials that they're using out there. You find out about it from these different guys, and that's what I like to do. And I got a couple that are my favorites, like I said, but I like the ones that focus primarily on being on the bench and showing something done versus, like too much goofball stuff going on or whatever.
Yeah, I do too, and well, I mean, some of the older ones that are just the slides, with the text on it, I don't even really deal with those anymore. I mean, and they're like 3 or 4 years old, because you wouldn't be able to do what you can do now 3 or 4 years ago on YouTube.
Right.
But I did notice that there's really not a whole lot of videos out there on kit bashing or scratch building.
No, there's not.
Kits. There's hardly any at all, and I was thinking about that because this little thing I built. I was thinking, well, maybe I'll build another one, except do a video on it so I can post it, so because that's what's cool to me. I like building model kits the way they are, but it's like, you take something that's supposed to be one thing, and then you work it in your mind, and then you try the pieces and stuff, and then you work it into something else.
Oh,
which
yeah,
essentially
definitely.
which is essentially what a lot of the movie guys do, especially if you look at like gosh, what is his name? Brian. He did a lot. He worked on Alien a little bit, and then he worked on Space 1999. Brian something. He was a chief model builder. But anyway, that's where a lot.
Most of the most of the movie models, at least back in the day, they were all kit bashes.
Yep.
We were talking about the Cylon Raider, for example, and the Cylon Raider had parts of that UFO kit that I built from the Invaders TV show on it.
Right. Yeah, and I have noticed that they're getting their own shapes as far as the main shape, and then of course all the greeblies and everything, are all from
their car engine pieces, their tank pieces, their motorcycle parts, everything.
Yeah, even that Cylon, there's a bunch of parts on there from the Matilda.
Yeah.
Tank, and then the Leopold lot from the Leopold too.
Yep. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and close her down here. It's getting a little bit after 11 o'clock my time, so I'm going to have to get some sleep here. But I enjoyed it tonight. Like I said, we got off to a little bit of a slow start, but we got a couple questions in to our Q&A panel and stuff, and I had a good time. Thanks for showing everything tonight. David, we were really glad to have you on, and I hope your son enjoyed himself there too. Looks like he had fun. And come back for more, guys. We'll be back next week with another Hangout. We'll have some all new stuff to show. So have a good time building your models this week. See you next time.
And
Night, John Boy.
John Boy.
Bye. Okay. Huh? Yep, you're all off. All I do is press X or press the biggest.